श्रीमान् वेङ्कटनाथार्यः कवितार्किककेसरी वेदान्ताचार्यवर्यो मे सन्निधत्ताम् सदा हृदि। रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम्। சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஊரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
Trishanku, now let us take Trishanku, Shunashepa, Adi Virtantangalilum, Vishwamitra Adi Vyapara Visheshangalai Chulli, Sharanagata Rakshanam Paramadharmam Endrum. Thank you. Samartha Karunika Vishaya, Sharanagati, Palavina Bhute Endrum Katina. Pala Avina Bhute Endrum Katina. Elaya Perumal. We go to the Sanskrit part. Sabhratus Charanam Gadham Nipidya Raghunandanaha Sitam Uvacha Atiyashaha Raghavancha Mahavratam. Now look at the Tamil part of it. So we are now talking about 2 episodes in Ramayana, especially that is mentioned in Balakanda. And this is the context where Sri Rama and Lakshmana are guided by Vishwamitra, a great sage. And that was a very interesting incident in the Ramayana. As soon as the boys were growing, learning all requirements of a royal family, sending an arrow by the bow, fighting with a sword, so many things, and also knowledge wise, also practical knowledge wise, they were studying. And when they became just about 12 in age, Rama was 12 in age, and then suddenly Vishwamitra came to the palace of Dasharatha. And as soon as he entered into he was trying to enter into the palace, the guard at the entrance stopped him, as usual, as which happened to the Jaya Vijaya of Sri Vaikuntha. So Vishwamitra was stopped, and Vishwamitra became very furious. And then the what you call the Kanchuki, a chamberlain will be there to inform the king who came or who is at the entrance. And then when Kanchuki was asking the name of the sage, he said, I have come. You tell him I have come. So this is where, so then the Kanchuki chamberlain went to Dasharatha and said, he is the man who is at the entrance at the door. He says, I have come. So immediately Dasharatha understood that it is Vishwamitra. So much, of course, egoism reflected in his words. So here, so immediately Dasharatha rushed by running toward the door and then welcomed him. And then after immediately welcoming him, he said, whatever you order, I will do. That was the promise given, fortunately or unfortunately, by the king. And the king was always truthful, as you know. Dasharatha was a truthful king. Therefore, as soon as he entered without asking any questions, whatever you ask me, I will do. I will carry out your orders. Then immediate immediate order of Vishwamitra is, please send your son Rama with me. Why? When he said why, when he asked why, Dasharatha asked why, So he said, in order to protect my sacrifice. I am in ashrama, a hermitage called Siddhashrama. It's already a successful hermitage. But there are people who come and disturb, namely demons coming and disturbing my sacrifice. They stop my sacrifice. They give a lot of trouble to my sacrifice. And therefore, I want Rama to protect, give a cover so that I am secure. My sacrifice goes uninterruptedly. And therefore, so immediately Dasharatha said no. So he said, I will follow your orders, I will execute your commands. But then immediately he said, no, I cannot send. He is not even 16. So he is less than 16 in age. Unasa shodasha varshomi. So he is not even 16. How can I send you? I will come with the army to protect your sacrifice. I will take all the 4 types of army. Ratha, Gaja, Turaga, Padati. So all the 4 types of army I will take and then protect you. He said, no, I want only Rama. Then Vishwamitra became angry. He was about to leave. And then Vasishta calmed him. And Vasishta asked Dasharatha to do what he said. Send Rama. So along with Rama, Lakshmana was always a permanent companion. And therefore Lakshmana was also sent. So with the bow and arrow. So Vishwamitra took the 2 boys along with him. And then we have a very famous, what do you call, Suprabhatam Slokam, namely, Kausalya Suprajarama Purva Sandhya Pravartate Uttishthana Rashardula Kartavyam Devamannikam. When they were traveling, Rama, Lakshmana and Vishwamitra had to take rest on the bank of a river. And then, since Rama and Lakshmana are not used to the forest life, and they were sleeping a little in the morning, and then Vishwamitra had to wake up both. So again, he said, Uttishto Uttishta Govinda Uttishta Garuda Dhvaja Uttishta Kamala Kanta Trailokyam Mangalam Kuru. These are the 2 famous verses from Ramayana, which are now said for any temple, any aradhana, at home, any worship to wake up the Lord. So he addresses him as Rama as Kausalya Supraja Rama. So generally a small child remembers more the mother than anybody else. So Kausalya used to wake him up. And therefore, so naming the mother, he wants to remind, Vishwamitra wanted to remind Rama to wake up. The name of the mother. So after waking up, the anushtanas, the daily course and rituals have been performed by, he said, Kuru, do. Annikam Kuru. The diurnal duties, please do. Then you have, so Vishwamitra teaching Bala and Atibala. These are the 2 special arrows which give them strength, more strength. And especially this Bala and Atibala gave a lot of strength to Lakshmana particularly, so that he could remain awake throughout the 14 years of forest life. And therefore, Indrajit, of course, the son of Ravana, had a boon that a person who is awake who doesn't sleep for 14 years, only can win over. And therefore, Lakshmana remained awake throughout the forest life. He never slept. So you have, so the context is Vishwamitra goes there and he is helped by Rama and Lakshmana. Vishwamitra is able to complete successfully the sacrifice in his hermitage called Siddhashrama. And then, of course, you know the story. He takes him to Gautama's hermitage. Ahalya is redeemed from the curse. And then he goes to Mithila, and the marriage also happens. So now, while walking through the forest, Rama was asking questions about the forest, and they visit where Vamanavatara happened. And also they saw the kingdom of Manmatha. And then we have the story of Vishwamitra autobiography. Vishwamitra says autobiography for amusing and making them not feel tired or walking. Therefore, now there are two incidents. So, Trishanku had a name earlier, but I forget. So he went and he had a peculiar desire. He went and prayed to a sage Vasishtha to send him to heaven with the human body of this world. Vasishtha refused. Then Vasishtha's sons were requested by Trishanku, and then they also rejected his request. So he came to Vishwamitra. So this is where that we see the principle of Sharanagati. So Vishwamitra was bowed down by Trishanku. The Trishanku fell at the feet of Vishwamitra and asked for the boon of getting into heaven with the human body, the earthly human body. So Vishwamitra decided to protect him, give him the boon, make him go to heaven. So he performed with the penance power that he had, a lot of penance power. So Vishwamitra sent Trishankur straight away to heaven, Swarga of Indra. And in Indra, seeing a human being coming into his kingdom, it is said he pushed him down. He was not wanted there. He had no permission to enter. And therefore, Trishanku fell down, upside down rather. And then seeing that Vishwamitra got angry over Indra, then he started creating the world for Trishanku. We call it a Trishanku Swarga. A heaven was created separately for Trishanku. Then Vishwamitra did not stop just like that. He started creating a lot of things. Sun, moon, the whole world, universe, whatever was available in heaven, he wanted Trishanku to enjoy. Then Brahma and all other gods came and requested Vishwamitra to stop creation because he is another Brahma. He became another Brahma. And that is the basic principle that we understand here. Protecting the surrendery at all costs is the principle of Ramayana. Sharanagati Shastram is another name for Ramayana. And that is because so many Sharanagatis have happened. Initially, before Balakandam, before Rama incarnated, rather Lord Vishnu incarnated as Rama, the gods surrendered to Lord Vishnu. So that was the first Sharanagati. Then you go on, every Kanda, you got Sharanagati. And the most important of this book is called Vibhishana Sharanagati. The essence of this book is to give the gift of the boon which is appealed or requested by the surrenderee. And therefore, so Abhaya Pradanam. Protection must be extended at all costs, even risking one's own life. Then I will talk about Shunashepa in the next session. It's a long one story. And we will now go to the Tamil part where the actions of Sushamitra, Vishwamitradi Vyapara Visheshangalai Cholli. So there were so many activities of Vishwamitra which are in tune with Rama's principle, namely protection should be extended to all people who surrender. So Sharanagata Rakshanam Paramadharmam. The most important duty of anyone is to protect the people who fall at the feet. And it is what we call it is the greatest act of mercy. And you must be also capable of giving the protection. But in spite of it, if we are not capable of giving the protection, then we must try to acquire the power to protect them. Then, so what happens is never surrender fails. That's the meaning of phala vinabhute. Phala avinabhuta. So Sharanagati will be never without fruits. So it will be always it will always yield good results. Now there is one example here. So Kaikeyi asked for boons. Actually, Dasharatha offered 2 boons while he was fighting with Shambarasura, and Kaikeyi saved him. I think I have told you the incident, but I will tell you in quick succession. Kaikeyi, in her childhood, had pranks to play. And she disturbed a great sage called Mandavya. And then she pricked him with her index finger. The index finger disturbed him. He actually tickled him. He tickled him. The sage got angry and cursed that index finger will be an iron like, very strong like iron, as hard as metal iron, IRON. So that was a boon to Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi accompanied Dasharatha in his fight along with Shambarasura. And then when the axle of the chariot got loose and fell down, Kaikeyi inserted her index finger as an axle and prevented the wheel from falling down of the chariot. And she also, according to the what we call Yuddha Shastra, she gave rest to him. One can take rest for a little while when he's tired. So Dasharatha was given rest by Kaikeyi by taking him away from the battlefield. Dasharatha, at that time, being grateful to his wife, offered 2 boons. And she said, I will take these 2 boons later. So this is the context in which Kaikeyi had 2 boons to ask. And then this was the opportune moment where the Manthara, the lady called Manthara, she is a hunchback. She is a maid of Kekeya kingdom, that is Kaikeyi's father. And she came with a purpose of the incarnation of Lord Vishnu as Rama. And therefore, she instigated, she made Kaikeyi ask 2 boons. The first boon was Rama is to go to the forest for 14 years, and then Bharata, her own son, should become the king. The first boon was satisfied, but Dasharatha could not openly say yes, and because he never wanted separation from Rama, the eldest son. The son was born after many, many, many years, and therefore he never wanted to have separation. But still, the destiny has it would have it. Rama had to go to the forest for 14 years. So, in this context, Rama went to his mother Kausalya, takes leave of her. Let me go to the forest for 14 years and come back and see you again. Kausalya said, I will accompany you. No, you must serve Dasharatha. The husband is very important to any woman in life. Therefore, so Rama advises. Then as soon as Lakshmana went to his mother Sumitra, asked for permission to go to the forest, Sumitra said beautiful words. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. Ayodhyam Atavim Vidhi. Gachatata Yatha Sukham. It's a beautiful quotation of Sumitra's words. She is an understanding woman with the future happenings which are destined to happen. And then she bid farewell to her own son Lakshmana. And he said, Ramam Dasaratham Vidhi. When you go to the forest, please treat your elder brother. Rather, he is the eldest of the four. So treat your elder brother as your father. Give respect to him as you give respect to the father. Lakshmana was very angry with the Kaikeyi because of asking these two boons, and also he was angry with the Dasharatha also, his own father, for granting these two boons or without refusing to give boons. So here Kaikeyi, Sumitra said, so please recognize your eldest brother as your father. Ramam Dasaratham Vidhi. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. So treat your brother's wife, elder brother's wife, namely Sita, as you treat me, mother. Mom, mother, Mom Mahalakshmi. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. So Ayodhya Matavim Vidhi. Consider the forest as the city of Ayodhya, capital. Ayodhya Matavim Vidhi. Gachatata Yata Sukham. You go with your with happiness, with pleasure, as you will. Now, the philosophical meaning of these words of Sumitra are more significant than the literal sense. Namely, Ramam, please recognize Rama, Vidhi, please understand Rama as Dasharatha. Dasha is 10, generally, Dasha means 10. Ratha means chariot. So Dasharatha can drive the chariot on 10 directions. You know the 8 directions around us, and also the up and down. You can go to heaven at any time, occupy the seat of Indra. You can go to Patala Loka, netherworld of Nagas, snakes, and so on. So 10 directions you can drive the chariot. But Dasha means bird. Dasha means bird. Ratha means chariot. So the bird is the chariot. So which bird is the chariot? Kite, K-I-T-E. Garuda is the chariot. So please understand Rama as Lord Vishnu, Dasharatha. Ramam Dasharatham Vidhi. Mam Vidhi Janakatmajam. Please understand that Janaki, that is Janaka's daughter, Vaidehi, Videha kingdom's daughter, or Sita, as she is called, recognize her as Mahalakshmi. Mom is Mahalakshmi. Please understand, Rama is Lord Vishnu and Sita is Mahalakshmi. Then these are the two beautiful meanings of these two expressions. And then now Lakshmana felt like a fish out of water. And then he came to Rama. And then this is the statement. Saha, Sahahi, namely Lakshmana, Bhratuscharanam, Bhratuscharanam, the 2 feet of the brother, Bhratuscharanam, that is Rama's 2 feet. Gadham, very deeply, Nipidya, pressed, Nipidya. So Raghunandanaha is Lakshmana here. Because anybody in the race of a family of a very famous king is called by that name. For example, whenever say we Raghava, only Rama comes to our memory. But Raghava is named for anybody in the family of whole race. Raghu was a king. And of course, Raghu had a father called Dilipa. And so many kings were there. There was one king called Kakustha. And therefore, all the kings of the family, solar family, Suryavamsha, are named as Kakustha. But generally, Kakustha is again because Rama was incarnation of Lord Vishnu. We always attach a lot of importance to such names, namely, Rama will be called Kakustha, Rama will be called Raghava, and so on. But here, Valmiki is also attaching the same importance to Adishesha's incarnation as Lakshmana, and he says Raghunandana. So Raghunandana, Raghu's son, the son who is making the parents happy is called Nandana. Nanda, Ananda, happiness. So Nandana means son, S-O-N, and it means that one who makes the parents happy. Especially parents, and all others also. So Raghunandana, Raghu's son, namely in the race of Raghu, he was born, therefore he is called Raghunandana. Here it means Lakshmana. So Raghunandana, then he said, Sitam uvacha atiyashaha. So he spoke to Sita. Sitam uvacha spoke. Atiyashaha. Lakshmana is very famous. Atiyashaha. And not only Lakshmana spoke to Sita, and Raghavamcha Mahavrata. So he spoke to Rama also. Raghava refers to Rama. So so he spoke to Sita and Rama. Mahavratam, Raghavam Mahavratam. Mahavratam is a man of great vow. Great man of great vow. In the sense, as soon as the boons were asked, and Kaikeyi said to Rama that your father gave me 2 boons and I asked him and he accepted. You have to go to the forest for 14 years. Rama said yes. Never said no. So Pitruvakya Paripalanam is the principle, that is following the orders of the father meticulously, keeping the promise of the father, carrying out the instructions of the father. Not only father, Pitru also generally meaning Pitru. Therefore, we can say Guru Vakya Paripalana. A teacher says and the student carries out. And then we can say elder. Guru means elder. So elderly person says and the youngster follows. Strictly. Not even changing the shade meaning of shade, different meanings by shade, we say. So they don't mince matters. Simply strictly following the orders of Guru, elder. And in the case of Rama obeyed Kaikeyi also. She is only the stepmother, another wife of the father. And when Kaikeyi said it, actually Kaikeyi brought him up. Rama was more affectionate to Kaikeyi than towards his own mother Kausalya. Kausalya brought up Bharata. That is how the affection was mixed, not only exchanged and mixed, more than their own filial affection. And therefore, now the words of Lakshmana is, the request of Lakshmana is, please take me to the forest. So already he thought that Sita has got the acceptance of Rama to go to the forest. It is always said in Ramayana that Sita held one foot of Rama, and Lakshmana held another foot of Rama, and they both requested Rama to take them along with him. And therefore, so now having understood that Sita has got the already approval of Rama to go to the forest along with him, Sitam Uvacha. So he told Sita. So he said to Raghava also, she said to Rama also. And this Mahavratam meaning, the vow that is followed strictly by Rama is 2 or 3 vows, starting from the principle Pitruvakya Paripalana. He vowed to follow the advice of the elders. He never transgressed the command of the elderly people, especially, or even surrenderies, you can say. And he was ready to protect at any time anybody. And you understand this Charma Shloka of Srimad Ramayana, namely Sakradeva Prapannaya, 18th canto, Yuddha Kanda, Rama says to Sugriva and all other monkeys, of course, including Hanuman, Jambavan, the bear, and so on. So Sakradeva Prapannaya, at the what you call context of Vibhishana coming to surrender, he is in the sky standing, waiting. So Rama said, Sakradeva Prapannaya Tava Asmiti Cha Yachate Abhayam Sarvabhutebhyo Dadamyetat Vratam Mama. This is my vow. Etat Vratam Mama. Etat this Mama, my Vratam vow. This is my vow. What is my vow? You just fall at the feet, Sakradeva, Sakrit, once, Eva, just once. Prapannaya, you say that you are my friend. You don't say that you need not say that you are my slave, you are my servant, and so on. You say, Tava Asmi Iticha. Tell me that you belong to me. Tell me that you are related to me. Tell me that you are a friend to me. Tell me that you are familiar to me. Tell me that you are a comrade to me. That's enough. So if you just beg, yachate, don't beg, just request. So you simply say it, that's all. I belong to you. I am related to you. Abhayam sarvabhutebhyo. The one word is enough. When you say tava, there are 2 words. Tava asmi. Aham tava asmi. I am related to you. Then abhayam sarvabhutebhyo. I am ready to extend protection to all living beings. So sarvabhutebhyo. Whether it is a demon like Ravana, whether it is a monkey like Sugriva, whether it is somebody else, any human being, there is no differentiation of class, creed, color, and so on. So here he says, Abhayam Sarvabhutebhya, protection will be extended. Dadami. It's not a question of I am going to give protection to you. I am doing it now. Present tense, Dadami. Already your protection is assured. Your safety is in your hands now. Dadamyetat Vratam. So this is what we call understood by the word Mahavratam. Raghavam cha Mahavratam. The whole Ramayana is condensed to this particular topic called Abhaya Pradanam. Sharanagata Rakshanam. That's all. So let us go to the footnotes of page 22. So it says Samartha Karnika Vishaya Sharanagati. Now, when somebody wants to surrender to someone else, you have to choose someone who can protect you. If we seek a non-powerful, a man possessing no power to protect, then what will be the use? Therefore, we must try to choose a protector who is capable of protecting us. Samartha. There should be a skill for the person who is surrendered to protect the surrenderee. So Samartha. Not only that, though he may be capable of protecting us, he must have some mercy. Karunika. Karuna, mercy, daya, compassion, pity, sympathy. So Karunika, that must be. So he must be ready to bless us. He must be ready to help us. So he must have mercy towards us. A merciful and skillful person must be surrendered. How do we understand? How do we judge? When we are in danger, when we are in an emergency, how can we choose such a person with a lot of intelligence? Now, somehow, so we have to find out somehow by judging, he will be protecting. Now, today, suppose somebody is asking my help, I would say, if I can, I will help you. The people who come to my help will say, you are capable of helping us, and therefore we are approaching you. That means that they have understood, they have judged my quality and so on. So, but then we are very careful to say, if I can, I will help. Whatever possible, I can give, extend. Whatever protection is possible, I will extend. That's what. So you have the next word, phala vina bhuta, phala avina bhuta, phalam illamar pohat. So Elaya Perumal and Lakshmananukku Sampradaya pair. Traditionally, what you call orthodox way of calling Lakshmana is Elaya Perumal. Perumal, as you know, Mahavishnu, Lord, Bhagavan, we say Perumal. Elaya Perumal is almost like an assistant to, or younger brother to the Lord. Then therefore, Elaya Perumal is the name for Lakshmana. And so you have the meaning here. This is Ayodhya Kanda, 31st canto, 2nd verse, which we just now read. So Maha Yashasviyahi Lakshmana. Lakshmana is more known for his anger than anything else, but he is also very affectionate towards all brothers and all others also. Not only brothers, but others also. So he had a name also to reckon with. He was famous in Ayodhya also. And he always was a second life to Rama. He accompanied wherever Rama went. And he fought with the demons along with Rama while protecting the sacrifice of Vishwamitra. He always extended a helping hand, never disobeyed Rama. And therefore, he was very famous. Maha Yashasvi. Now, we have got a lot of good qualities in Adishesha, incarnating as Lakshmana. And he is called in specially given an adjective Visheshanam called Kaikarya Sriman in Srimad Ramayana. Kaikarya Sriman. When Vibhishana is called the Antariksha Gata Sriman, the richest person in the sky. Why the richest person in the sky? Because the demon was in the sky and standing waiting for Rama's approval to surrender. Therefore, in Antariksha Gata Sriman, Vibhishana is going to serve Rama in many capacities in order to win over his own elder brother Ravana, and therefore Vibhishana was about to do service, lot of service. Therefore, he was called Antariksha Gata Sriman in Sanskrit in Ramayana. Whereas the assurance given by Lakshmana to Rama in order that Rama would take him along with him to the forest, namely, he said, whether you are awake or you are sleeping, whether if you are awake or if you are sleeping. Swapataha Jagrataha cha. When you sleep or when you are awake, I will extend protection from all directions and give all security cover. So he said, I will come to the forest to serve you only, not to do anything else. If you command me, I will do it. Otherwise, the service, the greatest service done by Lakshmana in the forest was in Chitrakuta, a specific place shown by sage Agastya, to live comfortably in for the forest. The Parnashala, the hut, the thatched hut was constructed by Lakshmana. And therefore, you understand that he is always for service. He does always divine service. And therefore, he became very famous. Mahayashasvi, Mahayashaha. So they lived around the Kamadhiri hill in Chitrakuta, right? So you have, so what did he do? He he took hold of the leg of Rama without leaving. Because if you catch one's hand, the hand can be easily released from another's hand. Whereas if you are catching on the leg, the man who is surrendered to cannot move, cannot walk. And then he told Sita, as Sumitra advised, Sita being Mahalakshmi, we always say in the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya that Mahalakshmi must be approached for recommendation to the Lord. So she is a recommendatory authority to the Lord. And we call it in Sanskrit Purushakaratvam. We call it in Hindi, rather Urdu, it's called Shifarsh. That's what we say in Tamil also, Shibarsh. Shifarsh is the Urdu word in Hindi, so that it means recommendation. Purushakaraha. Purushakaraha generally meaning human effort. You can say even man's effort. But it is the woman's effort here. Mahalakshmi is recommending, is arguing our case along with Vishnu, with her husband, so that the boon is granted immediately. The protection is extended suddenly. So Sitaye Paarthu Cholli, then Ashrita Samrakshanam ennum Vratattai, that's what we saw as Mahavratam. So Mukyamai Kaikunda Sriramane Paarthu Chonna. So the next context will be, of course, requesting Rama to take him along with him to the forest for 14 years. And unfortunately, Urmila, the wife of Lakshmana, remained in Ayodhya with his husband separated, and she was serving the mothers-in-law in particular, and therefore, so she also had a great sacrifice to perform. Namely, she also sacrificed her life for the service of the mothers-in-law, and of course, anybody who does not want his service to be recognized is the greatest personality. And that was another example in the name of Shatrugna. Shatrugna served Bharata, and we call him as Bhagavata Paratantriyam, is the greatest quality of Shatrugna. That is, remaining a slave. Paratantriyam is slavery. So, under the influence of someone. So, Bhagavata Paratantriyam. If you do service to the God's devotee, that is enough. God will be more pleased. God will be more pleased only when we do service to the devotees of God. So we say in Tamil, Makkal Tondu, Maheshan Tondu. When we serve the people of the world, our friends, and not only our friends, our enemies also, our neighbors and so on, we are supposed to be the best devotee. And if we serve the Lord, that is not the greatest happiness for the Lord. The Lord is very happy when we serve the devotees of the Lord. Of course, we must serve only the devotees of the Lord, not anybody else. Now, shall we go to the next session by Monday? And the last part of that, Upaya Parigrahatte Panni, idukku palama. Now, the point of what we call Sharanagati here is very important. So we have to adopt some means. Sharanagati itself is the means. Sharanagati itself is the goal of surrender. Please remember. Nyasa Vimshati is name of a stotra composed and blessed by Vedanta Deshika, in which he says, you choose a teacher, preceptor, choose a protector, surrender to him, and that is that. That's all. That's all. You need not seek moksha by Sharanagati. Sharanagati gives you all kinds of benefits. The worldly benefits also of this world and also the next world, wherever you want to go. But what are the means to adopt? Namely, the Sharanagati is the means and the goal. So here, Upaya Parigrahatte Pandi. Now Lakshmana started working on the process, namely Upaya. Upaya, what is that Upaya? Sharanagati is the Upaya. So what is the Upaya? What is the destination? Sharanagati is the Upaya. So it is enough that we surrender to the God. We need not seek anything else other than surrendering to the God. Let us feel lucky, fortunate that we are able to surrender to the God. That is that. That's all. Nothing else. Don't go and give a list of benefits that accrue out of Sharanagati. So this is what I want in this world. I want to lead a happy life in this world, and therefore I want to surrender to God. I have a lot of problems in life. Then I want to get into the moksha, that is Vaikuntha. I want to go there. I want to be along with very near the Lord, and therefore I want to become Nitya Suri. I want to be a released soul, and therefore I do surrender. No. The very surrender itself is what you call mukti, the emancipation from the unending cycle of birth and death. So when you follow upaya, now I told you already, there are 4 upayas that we have: karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, and prapatti yoga. Since all the first 3 are very difficult to follow, karma yoga, when we do our duties properly, perfectly, we cannot be 100% perfect. We are deviating from our duties at any time, sometimes at all times. We are not able to do the duty properly, perfectly, and so on. We are not able to do the duties completely. We lack many things. We have a lot of lacunae. We are incapable of performing the duties. And therefore, karma yoga is difficult. But suppose I say, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Saranam Braja, taking the literal meaning. Let us all stop our activity. Let us not do anything, because we say, according to Sattvika Tyaga, which many of you may know, namely, Bhagavan Eva Swaniyamya. He only does everything. He only makes us act. So we are only instruments in the hands of God. He is the master. He is the actor. He is a man of activity. We are nothing there in his presence. So he does everything through us. So he uses us as accessories, instruments. And then we say, Swayameva Karayati. He does by himself. Every action he is doing by himself. Anushtanam, Nityanushtanam, for example, daily ritual. He is doing it, not we. We cannot claim that we are doing it because we are only in the rather puppet in the hands of the Lord. When we are asked to do, we do. When we are not asked to do, we are not doing. So he directs, he gives an inclination to do. He makes us have intention to do. He makes us possess a desire to do. And therefore, because this is Sattvic Tyaga, let us give up all activities. Sarva dharman parityajya. We will not do any duty. No. The duties should leave us. The activities should give us up. It is not the other way. We don't reject activities. We don't stop activities. The activities should stop from us. How is it possible? How is it possible? So the example given in the scripture, Urvarukamiva Bandhana. A cucumber is there, a cucumber fruit. So the cucumber fruit's stem is there, kambu, that gets divorced from the creeper by itself. So you don't recognize how the fruit became separated from the creeper. Ma mukshiya mamrita. Mukshiya mamrita. Just like that, please, Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. So this is a mantra which we say for Ayush Homa, which we can do for many people in order that they live happily without disease and so on. The long span of life is assured by this mantra. So Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam. Urvarukama Bandhanat Mamukshiya Amritat. So here, please take me away from the cycle of birth and death. Let me not be born again in this world to suffer. And therefore, so here, how do you recognize? Now, I can give you one more example practically. You go and wait on a plant, flower plant. Observe very closely without winking your eyes. Don't move your eyelids. Look at the flower, whatever be the flower. The flower opens the petals in the morning. Some flowers bloom in the evening. For example, lilies, blue lilies and white lilies bloom in the evening. The other flowers blossom in the morning. Go and observe how they blossom, how their petals open. Can you observe by your eyes the movement of the petals that open in the flowers? It is not possible. It is not possible. So the activities should stop from us. Now Karma Yoga will be then easy. Then Jnana Yoga. Go on, study books. Try to hear lectures from all people. The Vedavakya says, the sentence from scripture says, Bahubhya Shrotavyam. Hear from many people. Bahudha Shrotavyam. A single person may give different interpretation for the same sentence in different days. So, Bahudha Shrotavyam, Bahubhya Shrotavyam, Bahubhish Shrotavyam. So, all should hear. The listening is very important. Shalvattu Chalvam, Shavichalvam. Achalvam, Shalvattul Ellam Talai. This is a quotation from Tirukkural of Thiruvalluvar. 1330 aphorisms, you can say. Sutram. It is just 1 and 3/4 foot of a Tamil poetry. Just 1 and 3/4. Tamil சொல்லுவாங்க 1.25 அடி. That's all. Within that, he has contained all the principles of Sri Vaishnavas. And you find that listening is very important. So listening to the principles of Shastras, the qualities of God, so all will make us wise. So wisdom discipline, the discipline of wisdom we must follow. It is not possible for us to understand whatever we hear, whatever we study by books. We are not able to completely understand Lord's qualities, Lord's figure, Lord's intentions. For example, one small example, a negative example is the whole world has been affected by disease. And I don't want to name it also. So it has gone out. Now another threat is coming in by what you call in chain reaction. I will tell you the country, Ukraine. Ukraine is being attacked by Russia. And all the people of different countries staying in Ukraine have to just quit the country. The problem, there's a big problem. So the problem is there. We don't understand how to solve them. Why this problem? Which country created problem? And therefore, so you cannot understand anything. Then when you cannot understand anything by reading even books, so what do? So devote yourself to the God. Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga is not complete because we are not able to fulfill the requirements of Bhakti Yoga, because it is a very difficult process. If you read Shastra, you will understand that Bhakti Yoga is practiced by none. Many, of course, a few people done. Very rarely Bhakti Yoga is practiced. So the only option out of the 4 is Prapatti Yoga, namely Sharanagati.
रामानुजदया पात्रम् ज्ञानवैराग्यभूषणम् श्रीमद्वेङ्कटनाथार्यम् वन्दे वेदान्तदेशिकम् कवितार्किकसिंहाय कल्याणगुणशालिने श्रीमते वेङ्कटेशाय वेदान्तगुरवे नमः. சீரொன்று தூப்புல் திருவேங்கடமுடையான் பாரொன்றச் சொன்ன பழமொழியுள் ஓரொன்று தானே அமையாதோ தாரணியில் வாழ்வார்க்கு வானேரப் போமளவும் வாழ்வு.
ஓம் நமோ